I'm Andrew Potter. This is my EDL 850 Mod 12 Tort Law. First case I'll talk about is NM versus Anchorage School District. This involves a 6-year-old boy who was running to his mother after school. He had tripped and fell and landed on a stump of a pine tree. That stump still had some branches sticking off of it, and one of those branches actually penetrated his eye socket and made its way all the way up into his brain, where it punctured his brain. The area of the brain that it punctured had to deal with the rhythm of his sleep, body temperature regulation, and the onset of his puberty as he got older. After many surgeries and medical care, after he got home, his eating habits had changed severely. He went from 57 pounds to 110 pounds in a short period of time. He was always eating, the article said, and then actually to the point where he would leave home at nighttime and go to the store and try to buy food at the store. It also affected him cognitively, where he wasn't able to perform at the level that he used to before. He used to be in the gifted and talented program, and he was unable to be a part of that anymore, and that really impacted him a lot. As a result, the school was forced to pay the family $4.5 million due to negligence. I feel if this was to happen in my district, that they would obviously be forced to pay the money as well. But I could see them then going and finding any possible stumps, any type of tree part that may cause something like that to happen, and get it removed immediately to try to prevent some type of freak accident like that to happen again. And then also I could see them possibly putting a supervisor in that area to make sure that somebody was there to watch, to make sure that something like that wasn't to happen again. My next case I looked up was Munn versus Hotchkiss Schools. This was a pretty interesting case because the incident didn't happen here in the U.S. It actually happened on a school trip to China. Kara Munn was a part of a parochial school that went to China for a school trip. While hiking up in the mountains, she was bit by a tick, and that tick transmitted a disease to her, which then brought a lot of neurological damage to her. The family sued the school, arguing that due to Connecticut law, the school was negligent on informing the families and the students about the possibility of contact with this disease-bearing insect. The jury awarded the family $10 million in economic damage, and then also $31.5 million in non-economic damage. So this was a hefty amount of money that this family was awarded due to the fact of not informing the family about this possibility of these ticks. The article mentioned that as a negligence tort, And then the school district tried to set appeals saying that they had no idea, they weren't able to know any of the foreseen possibilities of these ticks. They weren't able to control the situation. So they tried arguing it. Unfortunately for the school, that was not able to be successful. For my school, I honestly don't ever see us making a trip that far away. But we do go on field trips and go to different places where something like this could possibly happen. This might be something that we may need to look at our information that we send to the families on field trips and stuff, and maybe add some of this wording into our permission slips that we send home to the students or with the students. My next one was Mitchell versus Cedar Rapids Community School District. This was a pretty hard case here. It had a lot of different variables in it. And the main part was had to deal with a student named DE. She was a 14-year-old ninth grade student. But the thing is that she was a special ed student as well. The basic aspect of the case was that DE ended up being raped by another fellow special ed student. The other special ed student was a 19-year-old 12th grade student. Teachers saw them interacting prior to the incident, weeks prior, as if they were in a relationship together. It was believed that they were already being sexually active with each other, because the teachers witnessed forms of sexual activity with each other, with those two students. Well, DE and a student named MF left the school after fifth block. They were going to go to a friend's house. Well, while DE was there, they met up with MF and went to the garage of VM. While in the garage, MF raped DE, and VM watched through a window and shot DE with a BB gun. The family sued the school, saying that there was negligence, that they did not watch the kids, make sure that they did not escape school or did not leave school. And then the court found the student and the school responsible for the activities. My next case is Hallam versus Manhattan Beach City School District. This happened back in 1974. It was a 10-year-old boy who was attending summer school. He had left the school premises before school was over. As he was crossing the road, he was struck by a motorcycle. The mother said the school was negligent because they did not have supervision for the child as he was crossing the road. He sustained lots of different types of injuries, and the school ended up being found guilty of negligence. My final case is Bratic versus Millard School District. This has to deal with a PE class. A ninth grade student was in PE. He ended up getting struck in the head by a golf club during the mandatory golf unit. The weather was bad outside, so they ended up staying in the gym that day. And then the directions was given to the class earlier, or on day one. However, David was not there for day one of the instructions. And then unfortunately, the teachers made a wrong decision. And when day two came, they did not explain the procedures and the instructions of how to use the material, the proper placement. David was having trouble with swinging the club, so another student came to help him, as the other student was showing David how to use the golf clubs. David approached that student mid-swing and ended up being struck in the head with one of the golf clubs. The school was found negligent again, with the lack of supervision in the classroom. A few professional ethics and proactive measures I would be is make sure that we are all performing our duties that we are supposed to be doing. With the golf club incident, as new students come in, you always need to think of the possibility of accidents occurring, and you need to, when those new students come, you need to make sure you reinforce those expectations and what was required for each student. And that would go along with number 2, provide the appropriate instructions. Number 3, adhere to the school discipline rules. Don't make up your own. If you're making up your own, obviously, you know that it's going to contradict or maybe not mesh with what the school expectations are. And you could be causing yourself extra problems. Number 4, keep private information private. I think that is a aspect of just being a professional. You shouldn't be talking about a bunch of different private information that's occurring, because if the people are not involved, it's technically none of their business. Avoid touchy situations. I believe that could be in multiple ways. What you say to students and how you approach in physical contact with students. I know as an elementary teacher, kids like to hug a lot. I try to stay away from those situations due to many different reasons. Number 6, keep written discipline records. This is something that I've done. It's hard to keep up with, but you have to make sure you're maintaining those logs and those records so that you have the proof of what's occurring. And I even suggest going over that with the students, or with each student individually as needed, and even having them sign that saying that you have spoke with them. Report maintenance issues. That would be just if you're seeing anything, let your principal know, pass that on, and also document that you did so that you're not at fault for any of those issues that may happen. Punish and pairs. That would be, as you are speaking with the students, you should always be making sure there's another adult there with you for various reasons. You don't want the students saying that anything ended up occurring that did not happen. Number 9, maintain your class and lab. Just making sure that you keep any of those materials that the students should not be getting into away from them, locked up, because you never know, as they are wanting to explore or excited about something, that they may want to get in and start messing around with stuff before you're ready. And number 10, do what's best for the students. I would say always think the worst and prepare like the best is what's going to occur. You can prevent a lot of stuff from happening that way. Thank you.